We've got a question from G-Lo up next.
G-Lo.
Not to be confused with J-Lo.
I was about to say, this is just...
Different person. It
Jenny
said...
from the block. Keep going.
No, but this is G-Lo.
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 I know, y'all said J-Lo, though.
No, you were there.
Okay, the question says, is it normal to not feel like you have reached abundance when your numbers say a different story?
Oh, yeah.
Brian, why don't you start this? Because you talk about this all the time. You say, man, life was good, but it didn't feel good. And then it felt good after it had probably already been good for a while, realistically.
Wait, now, did I mishear the question? Because I thought, Reby, you're kind of the moderator here. Is it normal to feel like you're not in abundance when you are in abundance? Is that the question?
I'm going to read it again, just how it's phrased. Is it normal to not feel like you have reached abundance when your numbers say a different story? So how I'm taking it is their numbers say they're very successful, but they do not feel like that.
Well, let me tell you, because there was and I don't have the specific data point in front of me, but there was a large percentage, it was over half, of wealthy people who said that they were not wealthy. We have that survey somewhere. We've done content around it. And so I the day I read this, I was on the phone with some CPA friends because we were working on some clients' taxes or something. And I knew this CPA because he's also a client of the firm. And I was like, hey, I saw a stat. And you're successful. You have multiple seven figures. I was like, do you feel like you're loaded? Or you got money? You're living in abundance. And he's like, no way. And I was like, you realize statistically, you're in the top. And I think that's pretty normal, G-Lo, because look, especially if you come from humble beginnings, it's you can take the person out, but you can't get the humble beginnings out of them. I mean, that's just that they have that funny saying. I totally butchered it, dang it.
No, that's good.
I didn't want to, because the real saying, and I didn't know how in this crazy time, you can take the boy out of McDonough, talking about myself, but you can't get the McDonough out of the boy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the saying, but I didn't know, use certain words now, everybody gets all worked up. So I didn't know. But it is one of those things where I think that it's completely normal to feel like you haven't reached it. And that's why you got to make sure you have analytical factors working in your life. The Know Your Number course, this is exactly why we designed it. Learn.moneyguy.com. So you can actually put some analytics, because emotionally, we know emotions lie to us. Because we're packaged with all kind of limitations and other things, because we have a bunch of baggage from what we grew up with. But you got to get outside of the emotional stuff and kind of retrain your mindset, and then have the analytics to kind of make sure you're getting the best version of yourself. So I think, G-Lo, that's completely normal.
I do too. There's the saying, comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Yes.
Like we say that all the time. I think that comparison is also the thief of reality. Because where we sit, we never really look at the people next to us or below us. We always look at the people above us. That when it comes to money, I think we do that a ton. We aren't thinking about how great my situation is. We're thinking about, somebody else has money. I mean, just in the chat right now, somebody said, I got a buddy who's got 400,000 shares of Apple. That's wealthy. Well, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there. But also, having $1 million in the bank, that's wealthy too, right? Like, that's still wealthy. And so we are so accustomed to looking and comparing ourselves to others that, G-Lo, I think a lot of people, just human nature, fall into that category. And so I do think what you have to do is you have to have a measured and grounded approach to say, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm killing it. I know that, hey, I've got money in the bank and I'm saving well and I've got a healthy income and my debt's under control and my net worth is growing and I know my number and I know where I am today and I know that the steps I'm taking today are going to move me towards my number. If you can say all of those things in the affirmative, you're doing good, right? You're doing pretty good, even though it might not feel that way. And so I think what is frustrating is when people who are objectively doing well try to suggest or pretend otherwise. It's like the guy who said, let me tell you why $1 million is nothing, how it's so easy to spend $1 million. Well, that's a very subjective view. Objectively, $1 million income is a lot of money, right? There's no two ways about that. And so I think we have to be careful not to compare ourselves to other people, not to compare ourselves to the people around us, and have a realistic view of, all right, where am I? And ultimately, why does it matter? Because at the end of the day, money is nothing more than a tool. Wealth is nothing more than a tool that allows us to better achieve the things in life we want to achieve, whether that be time with family, relationships, whatever that thing may be. Money is just the mechanism that gets us there. So am I wealthy or am I not wealthy? Shouldn't really be the question. Have I made or have I not made? Is am I at a point in life where I can do the things I want to do the way I want to do them on my terms? And that's what we should compare ourselves to, not to all the folks around us.